Genesis, historical character of Genesis. According to the Catechism, Genesis uses symbolic and figurative language in describing the beginning of the world. For example, the 6 days of creation in Genesis 1 are identified as how Scripture presents the work of the Creator symbolically. Similarly, the fall of man in Genesis 3, states the Catechism, uses figurative language. However, clarifies the Catechism, this figurative language is used to narrate an event, in this case the sin of our first parent, which was an actual historical event that took place at the beginning of the history of man. In reference to Pius XII's encyclical Humani Generis, Scott Hahn writes, Genesis 1 through 11 may be regarded as historical in substance, but mythopoetic in expression. In this encyclical, Pius XII writes, the first 11 chapters of Genesis, although properly speaking, not conforming to the historical method used by the best Greek and Latin writers or by competent authors of our time, do nevertheless pertain to history in a true sense. The historical core of these chapters from Genesis include, taught the Pontifical Biblical Commission, and I quote, creation of all things wrought by God in the beginning of time, the special creation of man, the formation of the first woman from the first man, the oneness of the human race, the original happiness of our first parents in the state of justice, integrity, and immortality, the command given to man by God to prove his obedience, the transgression of the divine command through the devil's persuasion under the guise of a serpent, the casting of our first parents out of that first state of innocence, and also the promise of a future restorer. In the next section, we will focus our attention on the first event affirmed by the Commission as having actually taken place, God's creation of the world.